At 41,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean, a Boeing 747 suddenly rolled. Then it kept rolling. Seconds later, the nose dropped, and the aircraft began plunging toward the ocean below. Inside the cabin, passengers were weightless. Loose objects slammed into the ceiling. In less than 3 minutes, the jet would lose over 30,000 feet of altitude. This is the story of China Airlines Flight 006 and how it came terrifyingly close to breaking apart mid-air. February 19, 1985. China Airlines Flight 006 was cruising high above the Pacific on its way to Los Angeles. The aircraft, a Boeing 747 SP, built for long-range routes, stable at extreme altitude. Autopilot was on. Weather was calm, nothing unusual, until one engine started to fade. Engine number 4, the far right engine, began losing power. Not dramatically, not explosively, just slowly. At 41,000 feet, that's dangerous. The air is thin. Engines operate near their limits. Margins are small. As thrust dropped, the aircraft began to yaw to the right. The autopilot compensated. But compensation isn't correction, and the plane was bleeding airspeed. The nose began creeping upward. Speed kept dropping. Inside the cockpit, there were warnings. But at that altitude, recovery windows are small. Then the 747 hit aerodynamic stall. The right wing dropped. The aircraft rolled sharply, and the nose pitched violently downward. The sky filled the windshield. Then the ocean. The 747 entered a spiraling dive. What followed was chaos. Passengers were thrown from their seats. Cabin panels cracked. Objects flew. Gravity felt wrong. The aircraft fell from 41,000 feet to just over 9,000. More than 30,000 feet in under 3 minutes. The jet exceeded its structural speed limits. The forces were brutal. Wings flexed under enormous load. The airframe groaned under stress. Investigators later said the aircraft came dangerously close to structural failure. It should not have held together, but it did. As the plane dropped into thicker air, the pilots finally regained authority over the controls. The dive slowed. The roll stopped. The aircraft leveled. Miraculously, the 747 was still flyable. The crew diverted towards San Francisco. Despite the violence of the descent, the plane touched down safely. All 274 people survived. The engine failure wasn't what nearly destroyed the aircraft. It was the response. At extreme altitude, small power losses demand immediate manual correction. Instead, autopilot masked the developing imbalance while speed quietly disappeared. By the time the stall occurred, there was almost no room left for recovery. It wasn't an explosion, it wasn't a storm, it was a chain reaction. One subtle problem, one delayed response, and a 30,000-foot fall. China Airlines Flight 006 remains one of the most dramatic high-altitude loss-of-control events ever survived. A reminder that at 41,000 feet, the margin between routine and disaster is razor thin.